friends, Mrs. Johnson here. Tonight, I wanted to read to you Splat the Cat and the Pumpkin Picking Plan. Sometimes when we read stories, they remind us of things. This story reminded me of when we went to the pumpkin patch, because if he has a pumpkin picking plan, and in the background, I see all these pumpkins and a fence and this little sign. The sign says, Pumpkin Patch. So this book reminds me of when we went to the pumpkin patch. All right, let's find out what happens to Splat the Cat and the pumpkin picking plan. Looks like he's got a good idea, whatever it is. This is based on the creation by Rob Scotton. Splat the Cat and the Pumpkin Picking Plan. Autumn was one of Splat's favorite seasons. Now, friends, if you remember, we talked about the fancy word autumn. Autumn is just a fancy word for what season? Tell your family at home. Use some of the clues in the story. Autumn is just a fancy word for fall. The season fall. We can also call it autumn. I'll help you rake the leaves, Mom, Splat offered. Thank you, Splat, Mom said. Splat was good at raking leaves. Seymour helped too. Soon, they'd make a huge pile. Splat stared at the pile. Suddenly, he had a great idea. His tail wiggled wildly. Splat! Leaves went flying everywhere. So did his friend Seymour, you guys. Look at that. Oh, that's funny. Splat's mom sighed. I have an idea, Splat, she said. Why don't you go to the farmer patch? Blech. I made a mistake. And remember, when we make mistakes, friends, we reread it because that's what good readers do. So I'm going to reread that. Splat's mom sighed. I have an idea, Splat, she said. Why don't you go to Farmer Patch's pumpkin patch? You can pick out a pumpkin to decorate and put on our porch. Splat thought that sounded like a great idea. I'll pick the most perfect pumpkin ever, he promised. Splat grabbed his wagon, and he and Seymour set off on their way. Splat loved Farmer Patch's pumpkin patch. There was so much to see and do. He saw a very scary scarecrow. And on the sign, friends, it says Farmer Patch's Pumpkin Patch. He got lost in the hay bale maze. He tasted fresh apple and fish cider. Then Splat remembered he was supposed to pick out the perfect pumpkin. The perfect pumpkin should be big, orange, and round, he told Seymour. He found a pumpkin that was very round and very orange. Too small, he announced. The next pumpkin was big and orange. Not round enough, he told Seymour. See, the first one was super tiny, and the second one was kind of like ovally shaped. It's like, it was tall. It's a tall pumpkin. Seymour found a big round pumpkin. Not orange enough, Splat said. Splat's tail wiggled wildly with worry. Would he ever find the perfect pumpkin? But then Splat spotted another pumpkin. It was round. It was orange. It was the biggest pumpkin in the place. Perfect, Splat cried. Mom will love this one. But there was one problem. How was Splat going to get the pumpkin home? This won't fit in my wagon, Splat said. I know, he said. I'll roll it. So, friends, they said there was a problem. He didn't know how he was going to get it home when he brought this little wagon, right? So he's trying to come up with a solution or an answer to his problem. The problem was it's not going to fit in his wagon. So his solution he came up with was he's going to try to roll it home. If it's round, it can roll like a ball. Let's see how it works. Splat rolled the pumpkin out of the gate. He rolled it onto the road and down a hill. Whoa! Splat cried. Splat ran. The pumpkin rolled. The pumpkin wouldn't stop no matter what Splat did. Help! Splat cried. Wow! Splat could steer the runaway pumpkin with his feet. He steered over a bridge and in between cars and right through his front gate. Ooh, do you think his mom's going to be happy about the gate? I don't know. Finally, the pumpkin stopped. Splat's mom smiled. "Oh, Splat, it's perfect," she said. "Well done." Splat smiled back. "It was no trouble," he said. "No trouble at all." The end. I hope you enjoyed our story tonight, and I hope that it reminded you of when we went to the pumpkin patch. If you were at the pumpkin patch with us, go ahead and tell someone at home right now something that was your favorite thing that we did at our pumpkin patch field trip. Have a great night.